Today on True Hotel Leaders, we have the social media master, Calvin Tilokee, president and CEO of RevPar Media. Calvin today will teach us how to master social media, get more business with social media, and how to protect ourselves online with social media. All this and more on today's True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders. This episode was brought to you by co-hosts. If you want to reduce hotel labor costs, increase upgrade sales, and increase your hotel's productivity, then give your hotel the power of co-hosts. For more information, visit cohost.io. Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It's Bruce Jordan, and today we have our very special guest. We got the president and CEO of RevPar Media, Mr. Calvin Tilokee. What's going on, man?
How are you, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. Well, hey, man, I see you got like a couple of Instagram accounts. You're killing social media. Like how, I always ask everybody, how did you get your start in this business?
So the background is I started in hotels and hospitality. I've worked in hospitality for about 20 years. Most of that in revenue management, hence RevPar Media. But over the course of years, my sense of humor and creativity conspired to create RevParblums, which is my first Instagram page, making memes and jokes about cutting through the stress of this industry, working in the industry. And my goal for that was always to create a community of hoteliers. I like to call it the biggest inside joke on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Listen, if anyone can use a laugh, it's the hotel industry.
Right, exactly. And to that point, I actually grew quite a bit during the pandemic. Last April, May, I gained probably 2,000 followers in those 2 months.
Nice.
Because I think people just really appreciated the levity, to be able to just kind of, you gotta laugh to keep from crying, as they say.
I'm telling you, because sometimes those guests can be so mean. Like,
yes.
Did you just say that to me?
Yeah. If it's not the guests, it's just the stress of the job, trying to hit these goals of budget and forecast and things like that. It's a stressful job. And my goal for it was always to create these jokes to kind of cut through that stress. And I just envisioned it as no matter where you are in the world, I don't care if your hotel's in China or, Hawaii, anywhere in between. It really doesn't matter. We're all dealing with that same stuff. We're dealing with the guests, sales and revenue are fighting over rates. It's all the same thing. So I just envisioned this space where we could all just kind of share a laugh at the stresses we all deal with. So over the years, realized that I had the creativity and the acumen for social media. Currently that page is over 19,000 followers, and I've done that organically. While working in the industry at the same time and working with a lot of different PR marketing firms and things like that, I just realized there's an opportunity for us as an industry to do better with social media.
I couldn't agree more, man. I look at some of these pages, I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, yeah, that guest never seen a bed, never seen a hotel room. Yeah, that's very impressive. But what are some of the things that you recommend hotels do to, just help grow their page and grow their engagement without putting up the same photos and stuff over and over and over again?
Yeah, I think that's a good start. People need to don't look at your social media as an extension of your website. Like, don't just mirror your website on social media, right? Your website is there for a reason. People go to your website, they expect the pictures to be photoshopped and airbrushed. They expect that's your best foot forward on your website. That's what they're there for. The reason things like TripAdvisor exist and exist in the way it does, where it's such a huge part of that guest experience or that guest journey to booking a hotel, everybody's going to go there to get the real story.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it's all about. And I've told this story before. Personally, I've not booked at hotels because you go on the website and say it was a beach property I was looking to stay at, and the pictures are great, right? You go on TripAdvisor and you see the traveler photos. The beach is rocky. There's seaweed. So it's like, oh, okay. I won't be selecting that. And that's what TripAdvisor exists for. It's more the authentic, the more real story. And that's what guests are looking for. So you have the opportunity now as the hotel to take that power
Mhm.
to do that on your social media. You can be a lot more authentic, and that's what guests want. They want it to be different than your website. They want to see your front office manager walking around showing the breakfast buffet what it really looks like. They know that's not, some
Staged
staged
event.
event, right, where somebody comes in with the huge setup and it's all Photoshop and airbrush. Just take a smartphone and just go, hey, this is what your event can look like if you stay with us. This is what your breakfast can look like. This is what your room looks like. That's what people want, and that's the power of social media, is to create that authentic
Look and
engagement.
feel and touch.
Right.
Unfortunately, social media can cut two ways. It can have a good side, and it can have a bad side.
That is true.
We're in the hotel business, so no hotel is perfect. There's always room for improvement, no matter where you go and what you do, and no matter who you are. And there's some instances where the guest kind of catches not on a good day, when we're having some issues and some problems. I've been on the receiving end and the giving end on that one.
Sometimes you gotta let them know.
So what should we do to help combat some of the negative aspects of social media? I know that's something that you really don't talk about too often. So
yeah, no, it's a great question. Yeah, it's not one I get often. I think in this business, in hospitality, you're going to have that, like you said. That's just the nature of the game. You're dealing with the public, right? That's a skill that we all learn over the years in working with people daily, working with the industry. Is you're going to have to be able to deal with those type of guests and experiences. There's a way to do that, and that doesn't change when you're on social media. If somebody leaves comments that are negative, or they send you DMs that are complaining about the hotel, you have to treat that the same way you would treat it if they were in front of your face, or if they left that on a guest review that you sent, or on TripAdvisor. You have to take that same approach of, well, we're sorry that you had this experience. Let's connect and talk about it. The same way if that guest was yelling at the desk, your manager should, let's step to the side, let's calm the situation down, let's have a conversation and see how we can address your needs. It's no different on social media. What you don't want to do is start flaming them back. This is not You don't
know what you're
right,
talking about.
Yeah, that's not the approach to take, because you wouldn't do that if they were in front of you. And that's what I think the key is. Look at social as an extension of your hotel. That's where the guest experience begins now. There's this misnomer, I think, was people are starting to see it, but very slowly, that people used to say, the front desk is the first person to touch the guest. That couldn't be further from the truth now, because when that guest is finding you on Instagram, that's the first experience. So whoever's responding to those messages and those comments, that's the first time they get an impression of your hotel. By the time they show up to the desk, quite frankly, maybe 60% of the job is done.
You go.
They figured out what your hotel. They figured out that they want to stay there. They know your offerings. They've selected you from a bunch of other hotels that are in your area or in your destination that they're going to. By the time they get there, a lot of the hard work is done. Now you just need to execute.
I love hotel owners that come up to me and say, I tried that social media stuff. It doesn't work. And I pull up their hotel.
Right.
They have one post. They posted one time in like 2 years.
Right.
And I guess they just really don't know how to work the system, and they really don't know what to do. Like, what are some of the things as far as like starting your page and getting started? What are some of the things that you recommend for hotel owners?
Yeah, well, that comment reminds me of saying gyms don't work. Right, but you look at people's membership. Oh, they paid for the gym membership and they went twice. Going to the gym don't do anything. Okay, but to start off, the issue I see, and what drove me to start this agency, is there's no strategy most of the time, and that's why things like that happen. You went into it not knowing what the goal was, and that's that. So you've got to know from the beginning, who is your guest, who's your demographic, who are you going after. I've dealt with properties in the past where they're very luxury, looking for this kind of younger millennial hipster type of guest. Those are the people who are staying there, And then they look for influencers or they post things on their feed that are, they might be fitness models, right? If you were running a hotel on Miami Beach, that could be a fit for you. If you're a different type of property where you're a bit more refined and people are, they're wearing shoes to go to your rooftop type of thing, where people are going up there for an experience, that's probably not what you want to put out there. So again, the key is knowing what you want to do. You have to have the strategy going in. Otherwise, you do like to your example, you'll post 1 or 2 times and then I
didn't make $1 million from these posts. This ain't working.
Yeah. What, you mean we didn't sell out from that one Instagram post that got 7 likes? How did that happen? You might want to open a bed and breakfast. 7 rooms might do it for you. But most normal hotels, that's a drop in the bucket. But if you don't know what the goal is, you don't know who you're trying to target, you can't create the content to reach that person. And that's where it starts.
My favorite thing is everyone's tagging each other, and I think they don't really understand how influencers work and how they can work for their hotel. So can you explain how to hire influencers and what should people expect when they're actually hiring influencers?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I would say, just in a nutshell, take it seriously. That's the problem I see the most. Is we all got enamored when Instagram became a thing and influencers became a thing. Everybody's so enamored with how many followers they have, right? Oh, they've got 300,000 followers. Let's get them to stay. But are those followers real? Is their engagement high enough? Are they really reaching their audience? Is their audience actually invested in what they're posting? Or is it just dead space? And any good influencer is going to give you a press kit, right? And that's where I think we really missed the ball in the beginning. And now you hear people saying, well, influencer marketing doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. You're picking the wrong people. Okay. You're not picking the people that, again, speak to the audience you're trying to reach, right? So you need to know who that is. I've given examples about pet-friendly hotels, right? Where you can get an influencer. There's dog influencers.
Yeah, for sure.
There's dogs that have agents out there, okay? Right? They've got 300,000 followers and their engagement is 3, 4, 5, 6% on every post because the posts are fun and engaging. If you've got a pet-friendly hotel that might be a little bit more on the fun side,
dog park, a dog park out
there.
Right,
maybe you're a hotel that's giving amenities, to these dogs when they come in. You've got a little, puppy bowl or a bed for. If you're doing things like that, those might be people you want to target. That's a fit, right? But again, these people should be able to provide you with their insights, their key demographics, the age ranges of those demographics, where their fans are located. You can get all that right on Instagram. And there are other applications out there that I myself use, because what makes me a bit different from other agencies is I'm an influencer in my own right in the hospitality space. So I'm in the game, right? So I live it and breathe it every day. A lot of other people out there don't have that skill set where they know hotels and they also know social media from a intimate level like that, like I do. But any good influencer is going to be able to provide you with key stats and demographics of who they reach. That should be question number one. If they can't or won't provide that to you, not somebody you want to work with.
What type of return on investment should hotel owners and management companies look for? Because they have like a whole team now, especially like the bigger management companies and the bigger franchises. What type of return on investment is average when you're dealing with social media marketing?
Well, first thing is you want to look at it as part of your overall marketing chain, marketing funnel, right? So you're investing money in email blasts and email marketing, you're investing in your website. Your website will turn around and give you a conversion rate on a website about between 1% and 2% is good, right? As opposed to how many clicks and visitors you're getting every month. If you convert 1% to 2% of those, you're doing pretty well.
Okay.
Email is around the same. If you want to check your open rates, your click-through rates on email marketing. Look at social media the same way, and I think that's been the problem, is that people are looking at it like it's some kind of different thing.
Mhm.
It's not. You look at it the same way. You wouldn't expect to send an e-blast to a distribution list of 10,000 people and expect them all to book rooms. 90% of them are going to book rooms. They're not going to, right? But what you're doing there is you're hoping a few of them do, a few of them visit the site and maybe convert. But what you're doing is you're building your brand awareness. Like every time they get an email in their inbox, they may not stay now, but you know what? 6 months from now, they may be looking for a trip and they remember, hey, you know, I get emails from this hotel all the time. Maybe I'll check them out. Now I'm looking to book a trip, right?
Okay.
If you go into social media marketing with the same expectation, you'll see that the return on investment is there. It's not immediate. You're not going to start an Instagram page today and sell out your hotel a month from now or tomorrow.
They want tomorrow. They don't want a month from now.
Oh yeah, a month from now. Yeah,
one
forget
post, I'm sold out. Yeah, this is good.
yeah, it doesn't work like that. But then again, we never look at emails like that. We don't look at our website like that. So I don't know why the expectation on social media would be, we put up a post. There's 1,000 people here. We should be selling 1,000 rooms. That's just completely unrealistic. You know, it is a longer term return on investment, but building up your brand, you can't really put a number on that brand awareness.
Absolutely.
If you're watching a sporting event, NBA finals or whatever it is, and you see these things on the court or on the border around the field, how can Pepsi quantify how many people saw that and bought a can of Pepsi?
They can't.
You can't, right?
Okay.
But what they do know is millions of people were watching that game. So they know that they just put their brand in front of a bunch of people with the hope that at some point, Pepsi is in their head. So if they're making a choice between Coke and Pepsi or they're thirsty, hopefully they grab a Pepsi.
Sure.
It's the exact same thing.
You know, I think a lot of people have issues with the analytics. They don't understand what they're looking at.
Right.
So can you explain to everyone what is reach, what is impressions, and what is frequency, and how they should use those numbers to help gauge how well their campaign is doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that is part of what makes me different from a lot of the people who do this, is because of my revenue analytics background, I take that into everything I do with social media. So your reach is how many individual accounts a post has reached. So for example, you put out a post today, you check the reach, it says 10,000. That means 10,000 individual Instagram accounts saw that. So me, you, and however many other people that is, right? Impressions is how many feeds that went to. So for example, you're scrolling, and now you may comment on it, right? And now a friend sees that you made a comment on that post. It didn't reach them individually, but that's an impression because they've seen it. They've seen the post because of something you did.
Now they can actually see that more than one time. So if I see the same
Exactly.
post more than one time, that actually counts as another impression.
Another impression, right?
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
Now let's talk about followers. I've been seeing, these people that hit you up on LinkedIn or they hit you up on Facebook and say, hey, we can give you 1,000 followers right now today. Right. And I seen a couple of people fall victim. I'm not going to say any names, but I seen a guy, he had like 2 accounts. One account was older and it had like a couple of 100 followers. And then he had this other account that was maybe a couple of weeks old.
Right.
And it had 10,000 followers. I'm like, that's impossible.
Right.
That's impossible.
unless you go viral. I mean, the only thing like that I saw was, I'm trying to remember exactly but it was like a dad. It was somebody's dad. And he made a funny reel about starting up the grill for the first time in the summer or something like that. And it got featured one of these huge meme accounts.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, he had 170,000 followers in a matter of hours. But it's very rare something like that will happen for most people. So it's not impossible, but more likely what you're getting at is this person bought their followers. Which there are accounts out there, and they'll spam your inbox, or they'll find, if you put an email in your bio, they'll email you and say, for $40 we'll get you 5,000 followers.
Now, is that something that you recommend, or you
Absolutely
usually
not. Absolutely not. No, what all that is, those are fake followers. Those are what they call bots.
Okay.
So those are not real people. They're just these automated accounts that will, when you make a post, they may put an automated response. If you use certain hashtags or certain words in your caption, these bots are basically programmed to say, okay, did you make a post about Kanye? So then they'll automatically comment, oh, Kanye's album sucks, or something like this, for you to basically they just troll you and for you to comment or respond. But they're not real people. So that is exactly how people will get caught having accounts that have very, very low engagement, because these aren't real people, responding. These aren't real people that are engaging in what you're doing. So you have 10,000 followers, you put a post, it'll have 2 likes.
Okay.
That's a very clear way for people who don't have, the different apps and things that to look at the insights. If you look at an account that has a lot of followers, very little amount of posts, and their posts are getting very little likes,
and the person isn't half naked, go ahead.
Right. Exactly. If this person is a celebrity, celebrities can pull that off. They can have 2 or 3 posts on their page and have hundreds of thousands of followers. You've got to be a celebrity to do that, or you've got to be naked, right? Either those are the only 2 people.
Do not get naked, okay? We don't want to see any naked people at their hotel.
No, we don't. But for anybody out there who may be looking to work with an influencer or anything like that, if you, that's a telltale sign. A lot of followers, look at their last 3 or 6 posts. If they've got 1,000 followers and those posts are getting 2 or 3 likes, 10 likes, then that's probably telling you their engagement is obviously super low, and most of those followers are probably not real.
Now, a lot of people has been getting a lot of backlash, especially when it comes to corporations, with the music. What is like a safe way that they can use music without getting that penalty and, without getting the account frozen or deleted or taking a hit or whatever the case may be?
Right. Yeah, Instagram is really tough with that. I've run into that quite a bit, because I use different apps sometimes to put music behind a meme, and you'll get that red thing in my feed saying, "Oh, copyright infringement."
We're gonna mute it.
Right. Yeah. A safe way is to use the music that's on Instagram, right? So when if you go on stories, you can search for different music that you can put behind any meme or anything you would post. Reels now, which has been out for about a year, that provides music as well.
Okay.
So you can use the music that's there. What I have noticed actually now, Instagram, I wouldn't say they're getting a little more lenient maybe with it. Lenient might be a strong word, but they're becoming a bit more tolerant, because sometimes there's a song that I may want to use that's not on Instagram.
And I hate that.
But there's some apps that I use where you can add music to the video yourself and then post it. And especially if you do it on Reels, if Instagram will recognize a song, it'll then add it to that feed.
So
that's for example, if you want to use, Usher, right, and you want to put that on Reels, if you don't select it within Reels, but you used it in your video, it'll automatically say your video has been added to Reels of Usher. Yeah.
Okay.
So the safe way is use what's there, but if not, just when you get those notifications from Instagram, there's a little, it gives you kind of a checklist or whatever. So you can go into it and just ask you, do you have permission to use this music, et cetera, et cetera.
They want license number and
who
gave you the permission.
Do you know Usher personally? Did he say you could use this song?
But Little John said I could use it. Every time I asked him, he said, yeah!
I took that as an affirmative. I thought it was okay.
Now, they just starting out. They don't know what they're doing. So let's talk about, the top 2 or 3 ways that you can get banned on social media. We see superstars now getting their accounts taken away, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. They don't got a chance. I don't have a chance. So
yeah. Any kind of vulgarity, anything that's excessive, sexual content will get flagged really quickly. Anything that is overly political I know people probably won't believe that when I say it because you see a lot of stuff out there, but there are certain things that, especially like when the Capitol was invaded,
man,
there are a lot of things got pulled down that day
Yeah.
because the tensions were just so high. So anything that, especially with dealing with COVID or vaccinations, I used a picture once. I didn't even mention anything about vaccinations, but I think I used a picture that had some sort of reference to it. I can't even remember now. And I got a notification from Instagram where it basically said, "Do you want to add this banner about getting a vaccination to your post?" I'm like, "No, it has nothing to do with that."
This is crazy.
And then I re-looked at the picture and I was like, "Oh, that's why they thought that it had some very, very remote relation to that topic." But things like that, you kind of want to stay away from, or don't be too opinionated on those things, because it'll get you flagged and it'll draw attention to your page that you don't want. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we can do to take the first initial steps so they can just get something started? Take a bunch of pictures. Do you recommend someone have like a media director in-house? Or me, myself personally, I feel like it's much better to have someone outsourced because they do this on a regular basis, even if you have someone in-house.
Exactly.
Because you need an auditor. There has to be checks and balances.
Yeah, exactly. I would say step number one is call me.
That's it. Almost 20,000. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Calvin, how can everyone get in touch with you?
Well, of course, if you like to laugh, you can find me on Ref Problems on Instagram. Also on @RefParMedia on Instagram. And find me on LinkedIn, Calvin Tilokee. I'm there all the time, do a lot of shows, and I share a lot of different tips and tricks on those various pages about what you can do to get yourself started. And of course, refproblems.com. I've got everything in one spot there. So all my different brands, some of my past work and people I've worked with is all on my website.
Okay. Hey, you heard it here first. I want to just give special thanks to No Vacancy News Podcasts and Red Roof Inn, and of course, AHOA. And thank you for having AHOACon 2021, where we're live at right now. And we really appreciate you. And you guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of True Hotel Leaders, where leaders teach leaders.